Let's get ready to rumble!
So I actually watched this debate between Jay Dyer and Brian Shapiro when it happened. I've become a big fan of, Jay Dyer and how the way he debates, and obviously Brian Shapiro. I've only, I see a lot of times I see Brian Shapiro just talking crap. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and he just has the issue with Trump. It looks like he's got big major issues of Trump hate and stuff like that. And so I watched a little bit of Brian Shapiro stuff, especially like from Cool Vic. If you don't know who Cool Vic is, I should link his YouTube handle on the description there. He's the guy. He's funny, man. He pulls up all the Brian clips, and this is how I learned about Brian Shapiro. But so James Dyer accepted this Brian Shapiro debate, and if some of y'all seen it, Brian Shapiro, every time he debates, he just looks like an idiot. And here this is the latter part of the debate, right? And they're gonna get into religion. So let's see, because Brian Shapiro hates religion, man. He hates religion. So let's hear what he says.
I mean, listen, going back to my original statements earlier, I don't like government involvement in our lives. Mm-hmm. That's my biggest criticisms of religion, is that too many people tell other people I'm right and you're wrong. No, my religion is right and your religion is wrong.
But don't you think in this debate, you think you're right?
When it comes to what, religion? I think anybody...
Isn't it? This is the funny part, right? Whenever Brian Shapiro gets cornered or gets asked a specific question, he acts like he doesn't know what the person's talking about, right? They've had discussion about Trump, Iran, immigration, and apparently in the whole debate, he doesn't understand what part of he thinks that he's right,
all the positions.
Okay, well let's talk about religion.
I'm just saying, like, I don't believe that about yourself.
What do you mean?
Don't you believe that all your positions are correct? You're doing the very thing that you're trying to say. I believe. Let me put it this way.
You see look, you see how stupid this is, right? He's been debating this whole time, and he's doing it passionately, and he's telling us that Trump is an idiot, he's stupid, he's the worst president ever, that immigrants are not a problem to the country. He's specifically he keeps telling Jay, well, I disagree with you. If you disagree with someone, that means that you think that you're right about the position and that they're wrong. I disagree with you, right? But here, Jay's basically like, bro, throughout the whole debate, you've been making your points about what you think is right. And you don't think that you're right? I don't understand. What do you mean? About what? Religion? No, you idiot. About everything you've been discussing. Not just this one point. Everything you've been discussing. I told you, this dude is probably one of the most bad faith individuals when he's dealing with actual conversation. If it's about Trump, this dude is going to go on the rabbit trail.
I believe everybody's religious, even you. You have a religious commitment to your position.
That's true.
You don't believe that it's a God. You're basically just your own God, and you're saying that all my positions are what I say, and that's my opinion, and
I'm not forcing it down your throat. I'm not making law.
You don't have to physically force things.
I'm not trying to convince you. I'm telling you my opinions of how I feel.
You're trying to convince the audience.
You're telling half the... I'm not trying to convince anybody. You're telling...
Of course you are.
No, I'm not.
He has a radio show that apparently he's been on for 20 years, and he's just been spewing his opinion. And he's been trying to convince people that Trump, especially in the last few years, that Trump is a piece of crap. From the first term to now the term, he's been convincing us that he's been telling people on his radio podcast that MAGA people are idiots and that they need to switch. Well, then what are you doing, Brian? What are you doing? You know what you're doing. You're on the radio telling your views, trying to persuade people that Trump is this bad person. Even though he'll say, I can't convince MAGA people. But you're constantly trying to point out all the bad things about Trump, all the bad things about his administration, and all the bad things about being a MAGA Republican and all that crap. But you're not trying to convince anybody.
So you're coming to a debate. You're coming to a debate, not to debate.
I'm coming to a debate or discussion to tell you how I feel.
Little slick action right there. Did you see that? The debate or a discussion. It was a debate, but discussion. He puts it in there.
About different topics.
Well,
how I might agree or disagree.
How you feel about it's a very feminine thing.
Well, that's fine. You can call me. I guess Jay thinks I'm in the kitchen. Then I guess I'm not. Jay, I got bad news for you. I'm not cooking you dinner tonight. But
you're not going to make a sandwich.
Everybody is different. Every human being is different. Everybody has different skills.
Well, what does that have to do with what I argued?
Because you're making a generalization about women, how they should all be in the kitchen. And I find that to be extremely misogynistic. Well, I think it's
generalizations
wrong.
are not, again, you're wrong. It's on your basis.
The women in your life, and I'm just making, if you tell them, I think you all belong in the kitchen, what would they say to you if you said that?
How is that relevant to?
I just want to know.
It's another emotional appeal.
Because I'm curious.
This is an emotional appeal again.
Okay, but I want to know the people in your life, your mom or sister, or whoever. When you.
By the way, if you watch the debate from the beginning to the end, Jay constantly is calling him out on all the fallacies, and he claims that he understands fallacies, right? Ad populum, straw manning. Jay calls him out all the time on all these fallacies, calls him a fallacy machine. And he's like, no, I know what a fallacy is. And then he wants to be logical. He does understand that if you're doing fallacies, then you're being illogical. You're actually doing bad reasoning.
Say, hey, you guys shouldn't be politicians.
My mom was an outlier, actually. She was a very qualified editor of scientific journals.
I think that's great. I think that's great. Mm-hmm. So why can't other people like your mom, who I'm sure was a nice person? Well,
in this society, they can, but that doesn't mean that it's the best for society. So the question was, what's the best for society? Not can they actually physically do it? So that's two different things.
So you think it's best for society to get all the brain surgeons and the teachers and the politicians and every woman.
Didn't say all. I said generalizations. Typically, it's not the best for society for women to have what are classically male-oriented positions and jobs.
Wouldn't that be a case-by-case basis based on the person?
No, if you're asking me about what's generally better for society.
You see, and Brian is just so fucking stupid. He can't understand. He goes from generalization to individualization, and then switches back to generalization, and then goes back to individualization. Right? The question was, what is generally better for society? And Brian, but case by case though, wouldn't it depend on the individual? No, you idiot. It's a generalization. We're talking about the whole. He goes back and forth, bro.
What about the individual? Does that matter too? What's best for the individual?
Well, I have a Christian ethic and belief, so I think that that's the best for society and for individuals.
So I would assume you think that gay people are all sinners. You're against gay marriage because of your religion.
Well, I believe that those are actions, not a state of being or an identity.
So you think everybody chooses to be gay? You think Richard Simmons was born straight? Because I think that's ridiculous.
Are you saying he was gay?
So there are many people when they're 4 or 5 years old.
Liberace
I actually had a conversation. I actually had a conversation with George Santos about this the other day. We're actually friends, believe it or not. And George told me he knew he was gay when he was like 4 or 5 years old. Well, and it's not a choice. And I think a lot of people who are that? Because I talk to these people and they tell me and they're honest.
Well, that still wouldn't. That's not how you would know that.
So Richard Simmons was born straight.
I'm just saying that. I'm saying that what you answered with would not prove the way that you know that.
Do you think being gay is a choice?
Yes, there can be epigenetic.
So you think sometimes?
Let me finish. There can be epigenetic or societal factors that can influence people's proclivities. Sure, but I think there's still a degree of human volition involved.
Yeah. So let's go with that logic for a second. You think men in society who are once straight wake up one day and say, "Hey, I think I like penis now." That's the way you think it works? You think it's a choice like that?
You see how bad faith that is, right? He's asking Jay, who's probably thought about this and is a Christian, right? And by the way, no Christian, not even a Christian. Nobody thinks that all of a sudden you're straight and then the next morning you wake up and you like penis, or you're a woman and you like vagina, or you're into that. That's such a bad faith way of that's literally a straw manning. Right? That's straw manning the mess out of this conversation, bro. No one thinks that. No one. We understand that that's not how it works. And by the way, Brian, where's the gay gene, right? The apparent gay gene that for years they were saying there's a gay gene that makes men that you can't help it. Where is it, Brian? Nowhere to be inside, baby.
It's probably in most cases a continual progression of moving in a certain direction,
which is what most people think.
Okay, again, I'm going to say
you're just a bunch of straw men. I never
right, exactly.
For you, I believe that sometimes in society people hide behind their religion to hide their bigotry. And when people judge somebody based on sexuality, or in this case, what's between their legs,
he just moved. He just jumped. If we're talking about homosexuality, now you're going to bigotry. He doesn't even. The response by Jay was actually good. I don't think gay people are born. People that have are homosexuals or anything like that, they're not born. And he comes out and said, "What do you think? Do you think that they just wake up and they're gay?" No, there's a continuum of there could. He even gave him the biological thing where there could be a specific case where in the physiological or even the psychological, the brain development or something like that, you could have it where they can lean to a certain way, right? But for the most part, he's saying it's a volitional thing, conditioning, thinking a certain way, which we actually have seen, right? But Brian wouldn't admit it, that we actually have seen an increase in the LGBTQ plus affirming mentality from years ago. Where did this whole big boom of, especially with younger kids, all affirming that they're apparently now gay, lesbians, trans, where did that big boom just come out of nowhere? Brian would be like, "Oh, apparently so." But hey, according to that though, yeah, maybe they do wake up thinking that way, right? Because if we saw the trend and there's nothing, there's a little increase, all of a sudden, boom! Now into the 21st century, there's a huge boom of young kids now claiming to be gay. Maybe they did wake up, Brian, and thought, "Oh shit, I'm gay."
I believe it's a form of bigotry. And you say, well, this is what my religion tells me. No, this is who you are. You decide to think that way. You decide to think that if somebody is different than you, I assume you're straight. If somebody is different, I
decide this, but gay people don't.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
I just told you,
you're agnostic. Couldn't everything be conditioned then?
There are people who are gay.
Could I be conditioned to believe?
There are people who are.
Could I be conditioned to my religion?
Could you be? I don't know. I have no idea.
So why would I be held guilty or accountable on your world?
Because when I talk to people about homosexuality,
but you don't even understand the argument I'm making. If it's genetic, if it's genetic with gay people, and if my religion is genetic, then why am I guilty and gays aren't?
Which Brian cannot prove that it's genetic. He's just spewing it out. He's just saying, I talked to my friend. My friend is gay. So, and he tells me he knew he was gay when he was 4. So clearly, gay people must be born gay. And Jay's basically saying, okay, cool. If you're going to make that determination, right? Well, couldn't then we all have some kind of biologically determined predisposition to do certain things, like I believe in God, or I don't believe in God, or I'm addicted to alcohol, right? They're determined to be alcohol. They're just determined to be alcoholics. No. Brian is willing to give the benefit of the doubt to the gays, right? And say, no, you have to believe them when they say they were born this way. Okay, cool. But what about the alcoholic? What about that? What about a religious person? Could religious people not be predisposed by whatever, either a higher power or something, or God, or even if you think it's evolutionary process, the evolutionary gives us the survival, give us, because it's based on survival, gives us the genetic predisposition to think in a higher being that is telling me to do this, right? Because survival mode tells me that it's better to be religious than not religious.
And you think religion is genetic?
I'm saying if that's the case, in your view,
religion is genetic. Religion is a choice.
Do you not understand the word?
Yeah, you see that? It's bad faith bullshit here. It's just straight up doodle bad faith. Religion is genetic. Religion is kinetic. If you are saying that being gay could be genetic, then what else could be genetic? It can't just be that just being gay is genetic. Because then I could argue that being straight, because most of the population is heterosexual, being heterosexual is the majority or the dominant way in which all of us are determined. And so then homosexuality would be the deviation of it.
I do. Religion is a choice.
Why can't I be conditioned to my religion?
Okay. Because sexuality is different than religion. You see, for example,
why can't I be conditioned? You're an atheist, right?
Okay.
Or an agnostic.
No, I'm not.
You're an agnostic, right?
I believe that there's a higher power.
Okay. But
it goes back to what I said
how
earlier.
do you, but if I'm raised in religion from my earliest days, being taught about, say I'm baptized as an infant, let's say I'm brought up in Sunday school from the, age 4, whatever.
Yeah.
Why would I not be conditioned in the same way?
First of all, I believe that's wrong. My worldview on that is I think
that's not the
wrong.
question.
Second
why
of all,
would it be any
here's
different?
Here's why.
In your
because
view?
I think most people who are gay would tell you. And by the way, I am a straight man. I don't speak for gay people, but I think most people gay would tell you it's a little bit different.
The fact that, again,
hold on. It's a little bit different to switch a religion or say, by the way, I know people in my life. One woman who was a pastor, she's now an OnlyFans model. She's a great person.
None of this is answering the question.
She made a choice to get out of that lifestyle and that religion and go live her life.
Okay.
Most people who are gay would tell you it's not just a snap of the finger. If you're born, I believe, gay and you want to turn straight.
And I'll use that. It's not a snap of the finger for her to just turn into the OnlyFans model. She understands also if she's been ingrained for so long in that religion and then decides to be there must have been a thinking. She must have been doubting. There must have been a train of thought that she was struggling with, whether she thinks that this religion is good or not. Right? And then she became an OnlyFans model. And even if she's the OnlyFans model, Brian is not telling us what happens after she becomes an OnlyFans model. Is she still struggling? I'm sure she still has struggles because she grew up. If she really took on that religion, she's still struggling with it.
So those choices are conditioned and they're not actual free will choices.
Do you not believe in biology?
You're not even letting me finish it because this is a killer.
I mean, do you? How do you prove, Brian, that being gay is biologically determined? How? We have no gay gene. How do you prove that homosexuality is a predetermined thing when it's a minority of the population in comparison to the rest of the world that are gay? Smaller than that would be the transgender. So clearly, if the majority of biologically speaking people are prone to being heterosexuals, and the smaller majority would be homosexual, don't you believe in biology? And again, where's the gay gene, Brian?
For your argument, and I never even noticed this until literally in this debate. So you can be conditioned to believe or to have those proclivities, but even though I go through the exact same situation, I'm guilty for the choice that I made for the religion, which is identical to the conditioning, according to you.
No, it's not.
This is the word.
Brian just doesn't want to hear it, bro. He doesn't want to hear it. He's basically telling him, if I'm showing you that you can be conditioned to be gay,
Here's what I think you're guilty of.
Then why couldn't you do it the other way?
I'm going to be very clear again. Here's where I think you're guilty of. And this goes for any religion and anybody. When you judge somebody,
what's wrong with judging?
Okay, I think it's wrong to judge people.
Oh, well, that's great, but your ethics are relative.
Okay, so when you judge an entire group of people because they are different than you because of the way they look or their sexuality,
remember he was judging Christians. He's judging religious people. He'll say something like, "This is why I hate religion and I hate religious people." Right? He makes a judgment call. He thinks that people that are religious are wrong and bigots. That's a judgment call.
That is what bigotry is.
What's wrong with being a bigot?
Well, I think that makes you an asshole if you're a bigot.
Well, but I mean, those are just your own personal
Okay, well, you're right. Bigots are great people.
So personal
That's a great
taste,
argument.
No, I'm just saying
bigots are what? No, you're right.
You see how he doesn't understand you don't understand it? He's saying, I don't think you should judge. But then Brian is making a whole bunch of judgment statements on bigots, on Christians, on religious people. But then he can't compute it. And so his answer is, oh, you're right. Bigots are good people. Idiot.
Bigots are wonderful people. I shouldn't judge bigots.
This is why philosophy is good, because if you learn philosophy,
this is why religion is bad, because he's trying to defend bigots.
I never made a religious argument. All I said was that
when you
no
judge, why is it so hard for you to admit that?
But if my judgments are my conditioning, then I'm not morally accountable on your worldview.
Doesn't the Bible say not to judge?
He, again, didn't understand what Jay just said there and go straight to the Bible. Hey, remember, he's an agnostic.
if your worldview is correct,
Does the Bible say
if
not
your
to judge?
worldview is correct, my choices are my conditioning, so I'm not liable
Okay.
or accountable.
Does the Bible say not to judge?
It says judge with righteous judgment.
Yeah, exactly. So you think this is righteous? Taking all group.
And then the verse, Brian, is judge, but judge not with. Be careful with the judgment that you give to other people. Right? When Jesus is telling the Pharisees, you judge the speck in your brother's eye, but you don't see the log coming out of yours. The Bible never condones judgment. It has to be a correct type of judgment. It has to be done with the intent of being truthful to correct. If you're just judging just to be, a piece of shit and an asshole, then yeah, that's wrong judgment. But didn't Abraham even call God the judge of all the earth? So clearly judgment is not bad. And there's a whole book called The Judges. Oof.
For people.
Yeah, because
and
I
judging them?
have a consistent
No.
basis to judge actions, not the people group.
I believe God
You
judges.
don't have a basis.
I believe God can
What
judge
God?
people.
What
I don't
God?
know what God, whatever God you. But
Exactly. He invokes God and then doesn't know what God. What God? What God? This guy is basically a security board of ideas. He picks and chooses when he's gonna utilize one idea, even though it will contradict the other idea that he just said. Well, I don't know if there's a God, there's a higher power. Well, didn't Jesus say not to judge? Oh, okay. Oh, but I want to judge. But I'm gonna judge. I'm gonna judge you right now, Jay. I'm gonna judge you because you're a bigot.
No,
Judges
Donald
people.
Trump
Then how
might
would
be
you
your
know he
God. I don't
judges?
know.
Then how would you know he judges people?
Well, it's a saying, okay? But I
So
will
it's
tell you
not a
this.
real
I
God,
don't
it's
even
a
know if
saying?
God
Okay.
exists. I don't know. And you need
Then
neither
how do
do
you know he judges people?
Neither do you.
How do you know it's
Neither
wrong
do
to
you.
judge people?
I made a statement as what you would say, a joke.
How do you know
but
that nobody knows?
It wasn't a joke. This idiot just got caught. He got caught. He believes in a higher power, but the higher power don't judge. But he's judging people. So whatever, man.
That God exists. How do you know that?
We don't know for sure. Nobody
But
knows.
now it's a universal claim. How do you know that no one knows?
Where's your evidence that God exists?
How do you know that
You
no
see how he just throws it back? He gets put in the corner and then throws it back. Well, how do you know? How do you know? No. You just made the claim that no one knows. And then he wants to throw it back to you.
I didn't make a universal claim.
Right,
You did.
exactly.
How do you know that no one knows?
There is no direct evidence that there is a God.
But
that
how do you
exists.
know that no one?
There is no direct evidence because Brian doesn't research, doesn't read. He's like Don Lemons. These people don't read, don't research. There's a plethora, Brian, of Christian history, right? And not just American Christians. You can go look at the Eastern Church, the Eastern Christians, all type of Christians. There's 2,000 years plus of historical argumentation for the existence of God. But that's too much reading for a radio host.
Because
No.
no one's presented it. That's
So
why.
do you know what a universal claim?
No one's presented it. No one's presented it. I know it looks blurry. There's a whole bunch of books back there about people that throughout the years have written books and articles about the existence of God, but no one's presented it. Oh shit.
Amen.
Yes, nobody's
What?
presented it.
What's a universal claim?
Universal claim is what I just said.
Which is what?
Nobody has direct evidence that God exists.
And it's what? About all states and all people at all times.
Yeah.
It's a universal claim.
Sure.
Do you have access to universal states of affairs?
If you disagree with me, then tell me your evidence that
Do
God
you have
exists.
access to universal
Again,
states of affairs?
Give me your evidence.
He doesn't
that
want.
God.
He doesn't answer the question. Jay said, "You made a claim. No one knows." Jay asked him, "Then how do you know nobody knows?" Well, give me evidence, Jay. Give me the evidence that God exists. You made the claim that no one knows or no one has direct evidence for God. So that means, Jay, that Brian, that you must be in everyone's head and have everyone's experience, right? There must be some kind of, here's a big word for you, Brian, omnisubjectivity. You must be able to feel, must experience, right? So you should be able to have the same experiences as everyone, that you will know that no one really has it. But he can't answer that.
Exists.
Do you?
You could make.
So
you
it's a
could play
two
word
quo
games
quo.
with me.
So
Tell me
all
your evidence.
philosophical questions are word games, even though you admitted that the law of non-contradiction
Does God
is
exist,
not a
Jay?
word game.
Your Christianity does God
course.
exists, right?
Of course.
Where's your evidence that God
The
exists?
Transcendental Argument.
Oh, I see. Okay, so
You see that? Bad faith. Right there. It's game over right there. Oh, I see. He doesn't even know what the transcendental argument is. He doesn't understand what are the actual arguments. He wouldn't know what the ontological argument is, right? the Kalam cosmological argument, the cosmological argument. He wouldn't know the moral argument. He would not accept any of these evidences that Christian theists and philosophers use. And we've seen debates. Christopher Hitchens has debated as again, William Lane Craig, Dawkins. We have seen atheists and Christian philosophers debate, Muslim Christian philosophers debate the transcendental arguments. They take this as actual evidences, but not for Brian Shapiro. No, oh no. Oh, I see. That's not a real argument, though.
So that's direct evidence.
Yeah, it's a logical argument. Sure.
And hell and heaven exist, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Where's your evidence of that?
Because it's part of the worldview.
Gotcha. So your worldview, you know for sure. And if I
have
say,
the highest degree of certitude that one could have.
Okay, you can have the highest degree. It doesn't make it true. But
it's the same thing with him. I would have thrown it back. Well, you have the same you have a high certainty that you think you're right about everything that you're saying, that Trump is a pedo and all this crap. You have a high certainty of that, even though there's no evidence for it.
But
I didn't say it did.
We don't know if heaven or hell exists.
Right,
I
that's
don't
great,
know.
but
You don't know.
But you
and for you to make that claim, I think is insane.
But you made the claim that,
and he's not understanding between we know for sure and certainty. He doesn't understand probability. He doesn't understand. This is stupid.
that you have universal knowledge that no one knows that, and you can't know that even on your own position. So you're going out of the bounds of what you can even do on your world.
There is no more evidence that God exists.
That's great that you keep saying that, but
I'm sorry, you don't have the evidence.
No, but I didn't make the claim that no one knows. You did.
You're entitled.
He doesn't want to accept the evidence. He wouldn't accept any of the arguments for God as evidence because he wants an actual evidence. He wants to touch it, feel it, right? There's no pictures of Trump with kids on Epstein Island. There's nothing like that, right? But Brian gets on the radio station every day to tell us that Trump did things to kids, that Trump assaulted people with no evidence. But then it's a big leap for him to get to and then he'll say something about the tooth fairy, That's a ridicule fallacy, bro. You're ridiculing the religion because you think it's nothing more than appealing to a tooth fairy. Brian Shapiro is a joke. This was it. I mean, like I don't even know how you debate people like this, but I guess you have to show them how dumb they are. All right. Now I'm gonna link the whole thing there, guys. Follow Jay Dyer. He's actually really good at. If you want to watch the whole debate, I'll link the full debate there too to follow Jay Dyer's. And also I'm gonna get Cool Vic's handle in there because check him out. He's a big Brian Shapiro, like he just mocks him, man. He finds every clip of Brian Shapiro and he does good reviews about it. But let me know what you think about this. What do you think about Brian Shapiro? Are you guys a fan of Brian Shapiro? Are you a fan of Jay Dyer? To me, Brian Shapiro is just a waste of breath, bro, to be honest with you. But it's fun to make fun of people like this though, right? So yeah. But guys, I'll see you guys on the next episode.